Hey everybody, JC here. Happy Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving. I am actually going to go ahead and just run out to the Tesla delivery center in Cypress, Texas. One of the biggest, well, the biggest Tesla delivery center in the Houston area, and just see how things are going there. It's been a little while. It's been a few months since I've been out there, and I like to do it every once in a while. And so day before Thanksgiving, I figured I would take the opportunity just to go on out there, and who knows, maybe they might even have a cyber cab that they haven't told us about, but we'll never know if we don't go. So but even if they don't, I enjoy going out there every once in a while and just see how things are going on there. So all right, well, let's get on the road and see how Tesla FSD does taking us to Cypress, Texas. Push the button and off we go. So it is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody, if you're traveling today, that you have safe travels. Hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow, but mainly today, just be safe, because I know that today is a huge travel day in the United States. So whether you're traveling by rail, air, vehicle, Tesla, FSD, all of it, just be safe. Take your time. Give yourself some time. Be safe, because the main thing is to see your family and your friends tomorrow and get to enjoy their company, have some good food, watch some football, all that good stuff. It is about 81 degrees here in the greater Houston metropolitan area. I happen to live in Porter, Texas. If you haven't watched any of my previous videos, Porter is I guess you could call it a suburb of the Houston metro area. We're about a good 35 to 40 miles northeast of downtown Houston. So also, as I've mentioned in previous videos, Houston is a very, very large geographic area. So yes, even 40 miles from the city center, we're considered a suburb. So all right, taking a right here on North Park Drive. Nice turn. Fairly smooth. Had a little bit of a robotic hitch there during the middle of it, but nothing too bad. Stayed in the lane. Got some cars turning off in North Park into the Walmart neighborhood market. Always a lot of cars along the, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but always vehicles to the left and to the right, and right on cue, there come two. Got a traffic light coming up here. Hopefully it stays green for us. Looks like it will. Excellent. So yeah, going out to the Tesla delivery center slash showroom in Cypress. So Cypress is also a suburb of the greater Houston metro area. It is on the northwest side of town. So I'm on the northeast, it's on the northwest. So it's a good 35-mile trip, but a lot of it is on the highway and the beltway. So hopefully take us only about 45 minutes to get there, depending upon traffic. Again, I get it, today's a pretty heavy traffic day, so we may encounter some traffic, but not a big price to pay to go see some Teslas. I love going to the delivery center. I wish I could do it more often, but again, being 35 to 40 miles away, that is not a daily or even weekly event for me. But it's always fun to go there, see the inventory on the lot, see what's about to get delivered, see people getting their new Teslas, and a lot of those folks getting their very first Teslas. So that's always really, really fun. Here in the last 3 or 4 months, quite a lot of Cybertrucks getting delivered out of that delivery center. So I also like to take the opportunity to look at the inventory of Cybertrucks there, see how that's going. And then finally, if they're open to talking, I like to talk to some of the Tesla employees there, see if I can get any scoop. These kids are pretty good. They've been well versed to shut up and not talk to the yahoos like me, other than just being really, really helpful. I will say that everything I've seen at the Tesla delivery center, specifically in Cypress, Texas, is everybody there is tremendous. Just really good workforce. They're always helpful. A lot of times appears that they're having to run around like chickens with their heads cut off because they're so busy, but that's also a good thing. It means we're getting Teslas out there. But no matter what, always hard working. When they can, always helpful. Will answer any questions that they can, because obviously there's some questions that they can't. But one of the great benefits of just being an old retired Tesla enthusiast is I can ask any question I want. All they can tell me is no or no comment. But I can ask anything I want. Because you'll never get an answer if you don't ask the question, right? Got some road construction here to the left and to the right. Pretty narrow part of North Park here. In behind a semi. We're doing good. Got some cones to the right. So the path that will likely be taken is we will be on North Park here for about another half mile, take it all the way up to 59 East Tex Freeway. We'll go under the bridge at East Tex, take a left onto the feeder, get up on 59, probably be on 59 for about 8 or 9 miles, which will take us to the Beltway, Beltway 8. The Beltway is one of the big loops around the Houston area. We essentially have 3 large loops around Houston, and each one of them successively further away from the downtown city center and basically serving the suburbs. So the first loop is 610. So 610 essentially goes around Houston proper, the actual Houston city limits. So I believe that 610 is probably about 5 to 10 miles each direction from downtown Houston. And then outside of 610 is the Beltway, which we're about to go to. And it's a good 20 to 25 miles each direction outside of the downtown Houston city center. And then there's Highway 99, which is the newest one. All right, making a nice move here to get over to the left, get around the semi here. Great move, great job. Very smooth too. No jolting, no jerking, just smooth and confident. got right over. So yeah, Highway 99, which is about 5 miles that way north. And so the Highway 99 loop is more like 35 to 40 miles outside of each direction, outside of the downtown Houston city center area. And so yeah, we've got 3 loops around Houston, each successively further away and each successively larger and bigger, but they all basically serve neighborhoods, suburbs, you know, community areas, if you will, that eventually, you know, everybody, it's all part of the greater Houston metro area. Right. Interesting here that the Honda in front of us moved up a little bit. We did not. So we've left a bit of a gap, and I don't know if it's because of the gentleman to our left. Could be. And now we're starting to move up. As he comes to the side, we move up. Yeah, my guess is the reason we didn't close that gap a bit more is because of the young gentleman to our left. And I am fine with that. All right, making a nice tight left turn. Ooh, be careful there. Nissan Murano pulled out in front of us. We handled that perfectly. That was ill-advised for that Nissan to do that, but I get it. Maybe they had been sitting there for a while and just wanted to take an opportunity. Fortunately, Tesla FSD handles that type of stuff really, really well now. In fact, it handles it a lot better than most humans do. So when I think about the top safety features of Tesla FSD, you just saw one of them. All right, we are on the feeder for 59 East Tex Freeway going southbound. Getting over to the left. Very good. About to get into the on-ramp. Starts picking up a little speed. Move over into East Tex. Start picking up more speed, moving over to the left. Getting into the faster moving lanes. But we gotta wait for the traffic that's already there, obviously. There we go. Toyota passed through, we get on behind them. Pick up more speed, get all the way over to the left. And now we are cruising at about 77 in a 65. But as you can see in front of me, that's basically staying with traffic. And definitely not out of the norm for this highway, especially this section of 59 East Tex Freeway. I've mentioned it on previous videos, but I'll go ahead and reiterate it again in case this is the first time you're watching one of my videos or you're just curious again. I am in the hurry mode on Tesla, full self-driving, supervised version 12.5.6.3. There are 3 modes to Tesla FSD. There is the chill mode, the normal mode, and the hurry mode, which is the one we are in. And as you might imagine, those modes dictate the confidence and, dare I say, aggressiveness that Tesla FSD will take with gaps, taking opportunities, follow distance, all that sort of stuff. Interestingly, I will tell you that even in the hurry mode of Tesla FSD, it's still the most courteous driver on Houston highways. They ought to put in a fourth mode past hurry called typical Houston highway driver. No, actually they shouldn't. That's a joke, obviously. All right, one thing just to point out is Tesla FSD picks up on speed limit signs, and now it's back to the right one at 65 miles an hour. But one of the things that it's still got a little snafu to it is directly to the left of us is the HOV lane, which, as you can imagine, not getting used a lot today since it's Wednesday before Thanksgiving. But if you notice, it says 45 miles per hour there, and our speed limit sign right here has picked up 45 miles per hour, which is wrong. That's incorrect. That is the speed limit for that part of the HOV lane, which is the on-ramp and off-ramp into the HOV lane. Our speed limit is 65, but it's clearly showing 45 right now, so that's the bad part. The good part is it's continuing to stay with traffic. So it knows to override the stated speed limit sign because the traffic around us is obviously not going 45 miles an hour. The traffic around us is going 75 miles an hour. Some of it a little faster. And so, as you can tell, the number one input to the speed that Tesla FSD selects for you at any particular juncture is the traffic around you, which is absolutely the correct thing to do. So I like that aspect of it. All right, got about 2.5 more miles until we get to Beltway 8. So, and Beltway 8 is all the way over to our right, and we do need to go westbound on Beltway 8, so that will be the rightmost lane on this freeway. So that means in a couple of miles from where we're at right now, we're going to need to get over about 5 lanes of traffic. And it's not too bad, as you can see, but there's definitely some traffic. It's not congested, but there's definitely traffic. So we'll just see how well we do. How well the model memory is doing. About 1.5 miles. Doesn't appear that we've started making our move yet. There we go. Now, as soon as I said that, with 1.5 miles left, it puts on the right blinker. So we're obviously starting to make our move. All right. Got about another mile to go. Got a semi directly to our front right that we'll have to work with. I don't know if, there we go, we're gonna go ahead and get on up. There you go. Instead of getting behind it, let's just move on up. We got 0.6 miles. That's plenty of space, plenty of gaps here. Let's work it. All right, put on our right blinker, move over. But we will need to get over one more. And put on the right blinker, and we literally make it right underneath the sign, right where the line becomes a solid white one. Great job. Great job. So essentially, it got over 5 lanes of traffic in 1.5 miles. And really didn't even, there was no jerkiness to it whatsoever. It was definitely smooth and confident. I didn't even feel that it really dropped that much speed. I'll take a look at that when I see the footage later on this evening, but I did not even get the sense that it had to slow down and tap the brakes at all. It was just really, really smooth. It was a great job on that one, Tesla FSD. All right, so we're on the on-ramp for the Beltway 8. About to get on the Beltway. Got our left blinker on to move over past the semi in front of us. The semi moves over as well. Got our left blinker on again. We have a semi directly to our front and one right behind us. We maneuver through that perfectly. All right. So we are now firmly in the leftmost lanes, the two leftmost lanes of the Beltway. We'll be on the Beltway for about 15 miles. Now, one interesting aspect of the Beltway is there are toll booths. So I believe we're going to go through 2 toll booths. And so I don't have any sort of special setting to not go through the tolls, I think, or go through tollways or anything like that. So we'll just see. This is, I believe, the first time that we'll have been on Beltway 8 with FSD 12.5.6.3. So we'll just see how it handles going through the toll. Now, that being said, I say toll booths. Let me recharacterize that. It's not a toll booth in respect where you always got to stop, dump some change or a dollar bill or something in there. It's the automated ones where everybody has a, little patch. I don't even know if that's the right word for it, but something like your registration sticker, I should say. Yeah, little sticker, not patch, but a sticker to put on your car so you just drive through. But that being said, there's only, I believe, 3 or 4 lanes that do that. So hopefully we handle that well. I would say on previous versions of Tesla FSD, with version 12, it's handled those pretty well, and it's known to stay in the right lanes, or the correct lanes, I should say, to go through those. But getting a little bit of congestion here. Hopefully this doesn't last too long, but at least it's moving. One thing I thought about adding into these Tesla FSD videos going forward is, from time to time, I will get questions in the comments to my videos, some of which don't even relate to FSD. It just relates to Tesla in general, but many of which do relate to FSD. And what I'll do is I try to answer those questions in the comments as fully and as timely as I can. And I know that once I do answer those questions in the comments, that it's there for everyone else to see. But I thought what might be smart is, as I get these questions, maybe to go ahead and bring them up during my FSD drives, where maybe there's a little bit of a lull. Maybe we've got something like this where, you know, we're firmly on the highway, we're in a little bit of bumper to bumper, touch and go type of stuff, and there you go, we moved over to the left a bit. I guess this lane will be moving faster. But if we're in traffic like this, where quite frankly, I mean, you're not seeing a lot of the attributes of FSD right now, other than the fact that I don't have to touch the steering wheel, mess with the pedals, which is a huge benefit, obviously. I can tell you right now, being in this type of traffic right here, FSD is just a godsend. But from a video perspective, you're obviously not getting much out of FSD watching this right now. So one of the things I'll probably start doing is, as I get these questions, I'll jot them down, so and keep a list in my car, in my Tesla, so that I have them and I can, you know, instead of trying to just completely rely on my memory. Let's just be blunt, at the age of 55, I still got it, but it's not like it was, you know, 30, 40 years ago. So maybe keep a running list of those questions, have them in my Tesla, and when we have situations like this, just start going through some of those. As I'm thinking right now, I'm trying to go through my memory bank of some of the questions. I got one today that was actually pretty interesting, and quite frankly, it's a good question. It was about the safety of being on Tesla FSD, where quite obviously I never have to touch the steering wheel, but there is a steering wheel. And so from a safety perspective, oh look, you know what, let me put a pin in that, because it looks like we're going to need to move over. Let's see how we do here. Yep, we have to merge. Looks like so that's why it slowed down a bit, is they've shut down one of the lanes. Let me wave to the truck behind us, letting us merge in. Very good job of merging there. Excuse me. Yeah, let me keep a pin in that. Now we're starting to move up a bit. I am pretty confident we'll come to a slow spot again, but let's get through this for a second. Yeah, they've narrowed the beltway down to 2 lanes here. Interesting. So I'll be interested in what the plans are for the middle section of the beltway here. Are they going to make that like a super beltway? Because you already got to pay to be on the beltway in the first place. So it'd be interesting to see what the plans are there. They're coming along pretty nicely though. See, I continuing to curve around here on the beltway. As you can see, all of this is very temporary. This is not the it's about half of what the beltway used to be, so the lane markings are a bit off, but Tesla FSD's handling it very well. Lots of road construction. No sides to the roads other than to the right of us. To the left of us, just a concrete barricade to obviously protect the construction and the workers. Let's see here. Yeah, it's really narrowed down through here. Man, I feel for those semis or anybody to the side of a semi going through that part right there. You gotta go slow and thoughtful. All right, now it's starting to open back up again. All right. Got all of our lanes back. Instead of being a 2-lane, we are back to a 5-lane. Put our left blinker on, move over to the faster moving lane. There we go. All right, moving along now very nicely. All right, so yeah, one of the questions was, like, obviously you don't have to touch the steering wheel, right? It's completely hands-free. So people are doing hundreds of miles, tens of hundreds of miles, totally hands-free. Kind of like what we're doing right now, right? So a very good question came up related to safety. And I guess I'll paraphrase the question, kind of narrow it down a bit. Like, well, what do you do from a safety standpoint if somebody tries to take over your steering wheel or accidentally hits the steering wheel? And that's a great question, because it is. We are hands-free. And so the perception out there may be, well, if you're hands-free, and obviously FSD is doing such a good job now, what if you become complacent and somebody tries to grab the steering wheel? And my answer to those is basically threefold. So number one, my answer was, well, you already got that issue with a regular ICE car, the one that's not autonomous, right? That is not an issue specific to just Tesla on FSD, right? So when most folks are driving a vehicle for tens of hundreds of miles, they're not doing it at 10 and 2 the whole way, right? They could be, but God bless their heart, they're going to need a psychiatrist if they do that for 1,000 miles. So most folks, as they're driving, even if they've obviously got to keep their hand on the steering wheel the entire drive, it's not rigid. It's going to be relaxed. So quite frankly, the issue of somebody crawling over you and trying to take over the steering wheel, I think that's pretty universal. And so what I would say is, anybody out there thinking of doing that, don't. Because you're going to kill yourself too. You're going to kill everybody in the car. So that's first and foremost, is that I would say, well, that's a universal issue. Second, what I told him was that, okay, we'll take that off the table, that it's universal. All right, let's put a pin in that again. And let's remember that I was at the second part of the answer to this question. We're going through the toll booth, and we are behind a Tesla. I believe that's a Model Y in front of us, dual motor Model Y. All right, awesome. Stayed firmly in our lane. Got through the toll booth. All right, so the second part of that was my answer is, okay, absolutely, somebody could come over. But what I told him is that just like if somebody had a firm grasp manually at 10 and 2, Tesla FSD basically has just as good of a grasp, if not better, with the lock that FSD puts on your steering wheel. So even though as you're looking at my steering wheel right now, I have no hands on it. It's completely hands-free. But the software has a lock on my wheel right now. Now that lock obviously is not a hard lock, i.e. it's not one that I need a combination to unlock or that is impossible to unlock. All I would need to do is do a very firm, taking over the wheel, but it does need to be firm. So if I just lightly brushed the steering wheel or did something around it, that's not going to be enough. Sometimes I can't even tug on the steering wheel to take it off. So it's got to be pretty firm that somebody's coming at it. So I would say that the lock that Tesla FSD has on my steering wheel is very similar to, if not better, to the same firmness in a lock that somebody with a 10 and 2 on the steering wheel would have. Probably better. And third, and in my heart and in my mind, the most important. And again, this is where my Tesla fanboy colors may come through, but that's what I am. I'm a Tesla enthusiast. So take what I say with that at that value. Ooh, a little bit of wind right there. Wind, and it definitely had a little bit of dirt coming back at us. We had a nice little, but I'll tell you what, these Teslas, that low center of gravity, heavy weight, man, it just handles the wind so well. But anyway, the third point to him was, hey, this is all temporary too. Now I get it. Temporary doesn't help you right now, or even next month, or even next year probably. But steering wheels are going to be a thing of the past with the Tesla Cybercab. So on October 10th, Tesla unveiled their Cybercab. And that is the vehicle, the passenger vehicle of the future. It is a fully autonomous Cybercab. It's beautiful, by the way. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, do one of two things, or do both. Go online and look up Tesla Cybercab, and you'll see pictures of it. But if you really want to see what it's like, go to Holmar's catalog, Holmar's blog, his X account or YouTube page. His name is Omar, and he's probably the most important person I follow on the internet as it relates to all things Tesla, autonomy, robotics, or whatnot. But so that's the first reason I would say is go to his page. But secondly, I would say is he got to take a ride in a Cybercab during the October 10th, the 1010 event, and he had it on videotape. Or videotape. God, I'm showing my age here. He videoed it on his iPhone. And so that is up there on his page on YouTube. So again, Holmars, WHOLEMARS. And his page, if you see it, it's got the red circle, looks like Mars, a little yellow in there. But on his page, then look for Cybercab, and you'll see the videos of him at the 1010 event and getting to ride in it. Anyway, so that's if you want to see what I'm talking about. I say all that to say is that is going to be the passenger vehicle of the future, one of them. And when you see it, you'll see that it has no steering wheel, no pedals, fully autonomous. Huge screen. So this screen that you see right here, which is about 15 to 16 inches, I forget the exact dimensions, but let's just say it's 16 inches, which is great. I love it. But the one in the Cybercab is a good 30 to 50% larger than this one. And it's fully decked out for entertainment and work and utility and not for driving. So there will be no steering wheel for somebody to jump over your shoulder and try to grab, or for somebody to accidentally come across your lap and brush, or whatever, or for you to fall asleep and lean over and accidentally hit. First of all, if you fell asleep on FSD, you're going to be alerted way before anybody brushes your steering wheel. Anyway, just forget all that. Just put it into a vacuum. Any of those scenarios happen, that'll all be irrelevant in a cybercab. And so, as I also responded back to this individual, that is why I and many others are out here doing this, is we're just racking up mile after mile after mile after mile after mile, dot, 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 on Tesla FSD, feeding all of that video data back to Tesla. And every mile they get, they feed that to the end-to-end neural net. And that end-to-end neural net just gets smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter, dot, 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 to the point where don't go to sleep, because you may wake up a year and a half from now and there's fully autonomous Tesla cybercabs driving around your house or apartment. It's gonna happen. That's what we're out here doing. That's why I told you this is a passion project of mine. I'm retired. I've done my thing. I had a wonderful, wonderful professional life for 30 plus years. Like I said, the firm that I worked for, I love them to death. They have given me the ability to, at the age of 55, freaking drive around in a car with 2 GoPros pointed at my noggin. Thank you, KPMG, for allowing me to drive around in a Tesla with 2 cameras pointed at my ugly mug and put it out on the internet. That is my passion project. But seriously, I'm obviously joking there a bit, but it is. The passion project part of it is not a joke. As I've mentioned on my videos before, we lose 45,000 people every year on our roads in this country. Some of which, unfortunately, is happening right now as they travel to their family homes, to friends' home for Thanksgiving. And I want to end that. I'm a Marine. A sworn oath to this country, to the Constitution, and to its citizens that Constitution is meant to serve for the people, by the people. Well, as a Marine, I'm the for the people part. Baby, I was trained for 12 weeks at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, to be the for the people. And I never lost that. So I am out here pushing this button, getting mile after mile after mile for the people. Because I want to end that death and misery. I don't want anybody to have an empty place at their table tomorrow afternoon. That's why I do this. I do it for you. I do it for the elderly. I do it for folks going through chemo. I do it for folks that are paraplegic. I do it for the blind. And I even do it for that knucklehead out there who watches my videos and gives me nasty comments because they're Tesla cute. I do it for you too. Because you know what? I actually got friends and brothers in the Tesla community. There's Marines in Tesla Q, and I love them too. You know who I'm talking to right now. You'll always be my brother. That can never end. But you are an idiot. You may be my brother, but you're an idiot. And one of these days, I'm gonna bring you back out of the abyss. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it together. We're gonna end the death and misery on these freeways, just like we were trained to bring an end to death and misery for folks in places like Kuwait and Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, in many cases, we brought our own. I won't get into that. That's a whole nother video. It has nothing to do with Tesla. Anyway, but yeah, in our heart of hearts, that's what Marines do. We don't bring death and misery, we end it. And that's what I'm out here trying to do. All right. Well, with that, we are, let's see here, we're getting close to our next exit, stopping off point. Getting off the belt, actually we were getting off 290. I'm sorry, I talked all the way through the Beltway to 290. It was obviously pretty smooth. And then now we're getting off at 290 to get, I believe we're going up to, let's see here, 1960? Because I believe, the Tesla delivery center is right over there. But we need to go underneath 290. So how is that for a long-winded answer to that question? So get ready, folks. That's how I answer questions. I'm like Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School. I'm going to answer your question in 28 subparts. I only have one question in 38 subparts. So, not sure if the individual that sent me that, first of all, the individual that gave me that question, great question. I love that. There are no bad questions. Like I said, I just answered his. Now, his was the latest one, so that's why it was fresh on my mind. So one thing I may do going forward is kind of go back through some of the comments that I got. And like I said, get a tally of them, keep them here in my Tesla. And then when we get to certain points in the drive where it's clear that everything's like really smooth and there's not a lot going on, I can answer some of those. So that one's down. I answered the one about the steering wheel. By the way, there's this thing called Waymo. They use Jaguars, I-Paces, I believe. They still got the steering wheel in there, and I think they put a big, I've never been in a Waymo, but I think they put a big old sign on the steering wheel that says, stay the hell away. The only problem is I know how that works. Usually when you put up a sign that says stay away, people get attracted to it for some odd reason. All right, got to merge over here. Should be turning right here into the Tesla delivery center. That Tesla pulled right out in front of us right there. I guess they haven't gotten their FSD going yet. All right, well, they've got so many Teslas, but I'm not gonna be able to get through here. Look at this. So this is usually a way that you can get in here, but I'm gonna have to go around here in a second because I'm not gonna be able to get in this way. They've got Teslas lined up and they all look like they're ready to go. Well, all right, I'm gonna go find a parking spot and I have to get around to the other side here, but go find a parking spot and I will take a look around the Tesla delivery center. And yeah, let you know if I see anything, and then we'll jack this thing back on the way home. I'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye. All right, everybody. Done at the Tesla delivery center. Let's head on home. Pulling out of the Tesla parking lot here. Let's see how we do. There we go. Got a little traffic coming now. Have to wait a little bit. Should have, right after this GMC should be good. And there we go. All right. Get up on 290 here. There's a Cybertruck there right along the side, man. And I love that wrap it was in. That black wrap. That's obviously somebody's there with the black wrap. We'll talk about the delivery center here in a little bit. Get up on the road. We got a merge right here. We merge in nicely. And we'll be on 290 for about 3.5 miles before we get on the Beltway. So we're gonna go ahead and make our move to the left into the faster moving lanes. There we go. Let the Audi go by, and there we go. Man, we're getting all the way over. Jeez Louise. Well, we got about a little over 2.5 miles, and we got to get right back over, I believe. So, but as we've seen in previous videos, the level of confidence, fluidity, and smoothness that it has right now on 12.5.6.3, it's just, it's great. So I don't fret about that much anymore. Yeah, I have it. It's interesting on 12.5.6.3 as far as navigational-ish. Now watch, I say that, and we have one here, but I haven't had some of the navigational snafus that I would have sometimes on previous versions. Now again, navigational snafus do not end up in interventions of any sort, but I'm talking about where it might miss an exit or miss the right lane to be in, and it's got to reroute. You know, might take you a few more minutes, but again, nothing that's a huge issue as you're trying to test out the software. But I'll tell you, I don't believe I've had any of those issues thus far on 12.5.6.3. Don't let me speak too soon. All right, we got about a mile. Needs to keep getting over. And it can get a bit congested here at the intersection of 290 and the Beltway, but doesn't look like it'd be much of an issue right now. Move over another lane. We should be good right here. I was going to say it because I think it needed to be in this next to last lane. So we got to go north on the Beltway, not south. There we go. Right? Got a beautiful Model S, white Model S up in front of us. Well, now it's to the side of us. May be able to get a glimpse. There it is right there. Beautiful. Gorgeous. We are on the on-ramp. We've been lifted into orbit. We're about 300 feet in the air right now. So FSD, don't fail me now. Not right here. It's doing a great job. Got a little bit of traffic coming the other direction right there. We handle that well. Have a little bit of a merge up here in about a quarter mile. On the Beltway. Obviously we've got some congestion right here, but as I look ahead, it looks like it's at least moving, so should be okay. Yeah, it's moving. And probably we'll start moving our way over to the left as well at some point, because we're gonna be on here for a while, for about 15 or 16 miles. Yep, there we go. We're making our way over to the left. Gonna ascertain which of these two is the faster lane. Probably none of them. They're all slow. Got another Tesla just went by us, a blue Model 3, just like mine, except different color. All right, yeah, so visited the Tesla delivery center, walked around a bit. Unfortunately, no Cybercab. I kind of assumed there wasn't one there because I did not see one on X or any other place on YouTube or anything like that. So usually if it gets to a delivery center, you know about it pretty quick, but you never know. And I was due, it was due time for me to make a drive out to the delivery center and look around and see how things are going, talk to some folks. So I just figured, why not? And we'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, no Cybercab to look at. And the Cybercab is the vehicle that I was talking about previously on the way here. So they unveiled it at the 1010 event, and now they're putting them on display around the country at different delivery centers. I know they've got it in New York. They've got it in several places in California and Washington, but I don't know of any places in Texas yet. So I'm not aware of any Cybercabs being on display in Austin or Houston or Dallas. And I'm kind of surprised, at least not in Austin. I mean, well, I guess, yeah, because it's not like everybody can go to the Gigafactory. Obviously, they have them at the Gigafactory in Austin, and I've seen videos of it actually driving around at the Gigafactory. Oh, we got a beautiful Model S in front of us to our front right, a black Model S. Gorgeous. But yeah, none at delivery centers that I'm aware of anywhere in Texas yet. So I'd love to see them display one. I mean, obviously right now, there's another Model S, right? I actually saw him, that's a Model 3. Beautiful Model 3, and they had the SpaceX insignia on the back. I want to get one of those. Well, maybe they work for SpaceX. They get that, but that was pretty cool. Maybe they'll drive by us. Let me see if I can see that SpaceX. No, not you. You Volkswagen Passat. Let's see if the Model 3 comes back up here. There it is. So see that red Model 3? Yeah, look at that. It got the SpaceX insignia. Is that a Model 3 or a Model S? That looks too small to be a Model S. But it's got the Plaid or Ludicrous badge on the back and a SpaceX. I mean, y'all tell me. Sometimes I get mixed up with these dimensions, but that does not look like, that looked like a Model 3 to me. It doesn't look wide enough and big enough. And then there's a Model 3 or Model S getting right behind it. You can tell, well, y'all can't, but I can. There's a clear difference in size between the two. So, I guess question for folks that know even more about Tesla than I do. Have they been putting plaid or ludicrous, or maybe is that on the Model 3 performances, the new Model 3 performances, do you get the plaid badge or the ludicrous badge on those? That's pretty cool. But it also, you could see it had the SpaceX insignia on it. That's really cool. I like that. I love it. So yeah, anyway, that they don't have the Cybercab on display here. They are going to have those in production very, very soon. And in fact, the last time Elon talked about it, which was on the Q3 earnings call in mid to late October, they're going to have those things in production pretty high swing by 2026. I think he was talking about 2 to 3 million a year by 2026. Maybe it's 2 million. I may be inflating the numbers there a bit, but I mean, we're not talking about just getting a few out there. He's talking about having a couple of million going, which makes sense. I mean, something that's going to be a lot cheaper to manufacture. I don't know what the all-in manufacturing cost of the Cybercab is going to be, but obviously going to be less than 25,000, maybe 15 to 20,000 bucks. Especially as they scale it, because as you know, or you may not know, but when it comes to COGS, and COGS is the acronym for cost of goods sold. So when you think about all the costs that go into manufacturing a vehicle, or really manufacturing anything, forget about just vehicles. If you manufacture a gadget, but in this case we're talking about vehicles, you, for lack of a better term, you capitalize all of the costs that are directly and indirectly attributable to making that vehicle. Other than, there's some costs that are not going to be directly or even indirectly attributable, like G&A cost, salaries of executives and, stuff like that. But any cost that's directly or indirectly attributable is going to get capitalized into the cost of the vehicle. And that's what goes into inventory. So if you look on the balance sheet of a vehicle manufacturer, one of the largest items on that balance sheet, and in fact, in a lot of cases, it may be the largest, is going to be inventory, vehicle inventory. And when you see that line item, essentially what that is just an amalgamation of all of the different costs that have gone into actually manufacturing that end product, that vehicle. So that's not just going to be steel, aluminum, the tires, the chassis, all the things that go inside the interior, all of that. It's going to be the folks that work on it, the labor, the salaries of the folks that are, what you would call the direct cost. And then there's going to be some indirect cost. So like the rent on the facility, or if you're not renting it, all of the costs that go into powering the facility that you use to manufacture the vehicles. So the facility costs. So all of that raw materials, in-process materials, finished products, direct labor, indirect labor, all of that gets burdened into the inventory cost. And then as they sell each of those vehicles, that then gets taken away from inventory on the balance sheet and put into a line item called cost of goods sold. And what you'll hear typically is people refer to it as COGS. So it's just an acronym short for cost of goods sold, COGS. So whenever you hear COGS, that's what they're talking about. That is basically inventory the cost and inventory being taken off the balance sheet and put into the income statement, into the P&L as each vehicle gets sold. Anyway, long-winded way of saying that the best way to lower your per vehicle COGS is just ramp up production and have as much throughput as possible. Because as you can imagine, a lot of that inventory cost, a lot of that COGS is fairly fixed and won't go up. Whether you have 2 million going through or 20 million going through, you're going to have a fixed amount of cost. So as you can imagine, if I can put 20 million through there versus 2 million, my COGS per unit's going to go down. Well, even the direct costs that aren't fixed, you know, some of the variable cost, the stuff that's not, it'll even go down. Because even though I may work more hours, or I may need more equipment or more raw materials for each new vehicle, so it's variable, my costs are going to go way down to get those if I'm producing more. So if I've got an aluminum supplier, well, guess what? If I'm buying 20 million vehicles worth of aluminum from that supplier versus 2 million, my price per unit from that supplier is going to go down. So anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying that you always want to err on the side of getting production up, unless you're losing money on vehicles. Sorry for the accounting 101 class here, but yeah, as long as you are making $1 of gross margin or more, you want to have volume. Just keep on ramping, because what you're going to do is, as long as you're making $1 or more, you're going to make that dollar get bigger and bigger. Now, if you're making $1, if I get more volume through there, yeah, I may only get it up to $1.10. But I don't know about the high school math you took, but in my high school math class, $1.10 was greater than $1. So as long as you've got positive gross margins, you want to drive volume up any way you can do it. And that's what Tesla's doing. They're getting their volumes up. And this Cybercab, man, they're just going to be, I'm telling you what, if you can get a vehicle out there with all the bells and whistles, fully autonomous, and you don't have to have a whole bunch of the interior stuff that you need for a regular vehicle, like a steering wheel, pedals, and all sorts of other things that go along, all the wiring that goes along with that. And you can drive that COGS per unit down to 15,000 bucks a car, holy moly, and sell them for 25? Bubba, there ain't a better business to be in than that right there. Really ain't. You just want to churn that out. You just want to churn that out. And that's what they're going to do. That's the plan. So I say all that, and I put a big caveat in. That works under all scenarios except for one. And that one scenario is if you're losing money per vehicle. If your gross margin is negative, you may be better off shutting down production, taking that money and putting it in T-bills and giving it back to your investors. Seriously, I know I'm laughing at that, but quite frankly, unless you have a plan that is dyed in wool and you can prove to your investors that within 12 months you can get to gross margin positive, you will generally be better off giving that money back to investors, or at least putting it into something else that does have positive gross margins. And I'm not naming any names here, but we all know that there's some companies out there that have not gotten to gross margin positive, and in fact, they're so gross margin negative that, man, I mean, I wish them all the luck in the world. I want those companies to be successful. but they gotta find a way to get to gross margin positive. You just gotta do it. Even if it's break even, even if it's $1, just do it. Gotta do it. That means if you gotta strip a whole bunch of stuff out of the car that your customers have gotten used to, you gotta do it. If you can't have a screen in your car, hey, do it. If you gotta jack up the price, do it. Jack up the price and produce less for a while. Just do it. If you gotta sleep on the factory floor for months, you do it. All right. Looks like it wants to take us off the Beltway for a while. Traffic must be pretty bad for it to want to take us off the Beltway for a little bit. Interesting. So yeah, it's showing that here in about a half mile, we're gonna get off on Ella Boulevard or Greens. And looks like we'll stay along the feeder to the Beltway. We'll just see what happens. But I'll tell you what, at this point, I've learned to put my trust in Tesla navigation. It knows much better than I do. Yep, we're getting off right here at Ella and Greens Crossing. We'll be able to see. I can see some red lights coming up, but I can also see red lights coming up in front of me. Getting over. And it's, yeah, okay. Yeah, they're parked. Wow. And I didn't even, I saw some red lights, but I didn't realize they were parked. Okay. Well, I guess this is the price you pay for wanting to come see Teslas on the day before Thanksgiving, but I wanted to see them. And I wanted to see if there was a shot at seeing a Cybercab. We didn't, but that's okay. I still think we're in better shape than the folks that are up on the Beltway right now. Yeah. So yeah, that's the gist behind the Cybercab. That is the plan, and they look to get those into production during 2026. So we'll see. We're definitely going to have Cybercabs. I mean, they've already unveiled it. A lot of folks have already been driven around in it. It was great. They saw it in person. So it's going to happen. Really, the only question is, and what else is going to happen is they are going to be able to churn out 2 million per year. That easy. Like, if Teslas can get that many, if Tesla can get that many existing Teslas out every year, in 2 years they will definitely be able to get those little Cybercabs out. That the lowest cost COGS per unit they've ever had. Yeah, they'll be able to just flip those like flapjacks. So that's not the question. The question is not on the technology, nor on their ability to get a bunch out. The question is the timing of being able to do that, because obviously you're either going to have to, I mean, I know they have existing capacity, and man, I'd have to go back and look at some of Herbert Ong's and Brian White's stuff on this. I mean, they do really good work on gigafactories and vehicle capacity, manufacturing capacity. But so if we're at, you know, a couple million a year right now, I want to say, I've thought, and don't hold me to this, but I thought I heard somewhere that their existing capacity right now, if they were at 100%, and again, I know, I'm not naive. I know for a fact, you know, you can never be at 100% capacity. You don't want to be at 100% capacity. So don't get me wrong, I understand that. But if they did, just for sake of intellectual discussion and argument, I want to say they're close to 3.5 to 4 million. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. But I thought I had heard that if they were at 100% capacity of what they've got they could get close to 4 million, which would be another couple million vehicles. Now I get it too. By 2026, they're going to be selling a lot more Cybertrucks, a lot more Model Ys, and wink, wink, nod, nod. We know exactly why they'll be selling a bunch more Model Ys. So they're not going to stay static. Obviously, by 2026, they'll be selling well more than 2 million existing Teslas. But I'm assuming by 2026, we'll have built out even more capacity at all the existing gigafactories as well. So yeah, that's the question, is can we get, what year is it, 2026, that we can start getting these things out there? So we'll see, God willing. I mean, the thing that kind of kicked us in the shins last time was the pandemic, right? But to say that Tesla got kicked in the shins by the pandemic from a supply chain perspective and not talk about other companies, that's like, you know, that's like handing out speeding tickets at the Indy 500. I mean, that was everybody. Everybody got kicked in the shins by the pandemic. So you can't hold Tesla their feet to the fire on that one for being behind a bit on, say, the Cybertruck and some other things. Because yeah, if you want to call Tesla on the carpet like that, you know, again, you're going to be handing out speeding tickets at the Indy 500. That's you're going to be a busy person handing out blame. That's everybody. So yeah, I was hoping that it would be there, but it wasn't. So one day soon, we'll get to see it in person. All right, we're just continuing along the feeder here, avoiding the gridlock that I guess continues to be on the Beltway. We're fine, just along for the ride. Shows us trying to get back up on the Beltway here in about a half mile. We'll see. Got a vehicle wanting to get over here. We give them a gap. Man, that other vehicle wasn't as nice to them. Just about took their rear end off. Well, they do have their rear end kind of hanging out there, but so yeah, let me think. So since we're going to be in traffic for a while, let me think of some other questions that came up now that I'm done talking about the Cybercab. Oh, yeah. I remember one question that came up was on Tesla FSD. All right, we're getting over to the, what are we doing here? No, we don't want to get over to the left because I believe that's a turn-only lane. Oh, no, 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 no. Override yourself. That is a turn-only lane. Looks like it gave up on that. Look, it had, for a second there, it had its left blinker on. But if we get into the left lane, to the leftmost lane, I believe you can only turn left or do a U-turn from that lane. Yeah, so that's a no-go, because the lane we're in can go straight or go left as well. So you do not want to be going straight in that lane. So if it gets over in that lane, yeah, we'd have to reroute. Right now, it doesn't have the blinker on, but you saw it there. It started throwing on the blinker, and I don't know, that's interesting. It threw it on a couple of times, but it never acted like it was making a move over there. All right, good. Sorry, I got derailed there a bit. I just wanted to make absolutely sure. So I'm gonna call that a little bit of a snafu, just because it gave me a little angst there. Anytime it gives me some angst, I'm gonna call that a snafu. Don't throw on the blinker to show that you may do something that we should not do. All right, looks like we're gonna get back up on the Beltway. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Yeah, we avoided a bunch of this, but as they say in the military, maybe time to just go ahead and take our bite of the big shit sandwich. Just get on in there. All right, got our left blinker on, start making our way over. Good job, very smooth. But we're gonna have to do it again. And it's very congested right now. All right, we're gonna be able to get over. Makes its move. Great job. Excellent job, Tesla FSD. Gonna make another move. I'm gonna get over in that faster moving lane. Good Lord almighty, girl. She just showed out. She just showed out. And traffic is starting to move a little more now too. Man, Tesla FSD just showed out. Tesla Navigation showed out back there by helping us avoid a whole bunch of congestion. And now we're at the, I believe we're at the tail end of this 2-lane section of the Beltway. It should open up again here pretty soon. So Tesla, great job all around, FSD and navigation. Excellent job, excellent. You earned my monthly payment today. And I'm the one that put you through this. She didn't ask to get out here on the Beltway the day before Thanksgiving. I'm the one that put her out here. Great job, great job. I think, yeah, we're definitely moving with some salt and pepper now. Heck, we're up to 55 now. Granted, this is a 65-mile-per-hour zone, but as you can see, pretty impossible to go 65 right now. We're up to 58. Yeah, navigation, you did your job today. Absolutely. So we've got about 3.5 miles before we get back to 59 East Tex Freeway. Let me see if I can answer. So there was a question on Tesla FSD specifically, the cost behind it and how that all works. So currently, if you purchase a Tesla, there are 2 ways of getting FSD on your Tesla. You can either outright buy it, and the current list price to buy FSD is $8,000. So what I mean when I say you buy FSD, you buy it, that means it's yours. You own access to that license for the perpetuity of that car. So as long as that car is still moving forward, which as we all know in the EV space, these EVs can last for years, decades. I mean, there are Model S's out there that are well over 10 years old, still getting around beautifully and look beautiful. You know, it's all on you to keep the battery health going and to take care of the exterior and interior. But yeah, these EVs can last a long time, 10 plus years. I think I'm not overhyping it to say that with a Tesla, a current Tesla, you should fully expect to be able to get 10 plus years out of it if you take care of the battery and take care of the exterior and interior. You should be able to get 10 plus years. So I say all that to say that they cost $8,000, and so you get to keep, and you have no further payment. That's it. You come out of pocket $8,000, and oh, by the way, when I say come out of pocket, that's included in that total, that your list price, so it gets baked into your monthly loan. But that's it. You pay $8,000, and if you have that car for 10 plus years, you spread that out over the lifetime of the car, and that's a pretty good amortization of it, especially if you drive a lot. Amortize that out over a bunch of miles. And if you do Uber or Lyft or any of those ride shares, wow, I mean, your price per mile is just almost negligible. All right, we need to get over to the right. As you can see, we got quite a bit of congestion to the right. So we got about a half a mile here, about a 0.4 mile now, to get over to the right. We only need to get over one lane, but we got to find a gap. And we got quite a bit of congestion. FSD's doing a good job of kind of doing its search and rescue mission here. We're not just stopping in the middle of the road. We're kind of continuing to move forward, but at the same time got our blinker on, showing that we're trying to get over, just like everybody else in the lane in front of us, as you can see. I think we have a gap right here if you want to do it. I don't know why it didn't do it right there. I'm going to continue to move on forward. I would have taken that gap right there, and I don't know why she didn't do it. But instead, we're going to take this one a little bit further up. Okay. That's fine. That's a little more aggressive than I would have been, because there was clearly a gap we could have gotten into, but we were more like that Chevy GMC in front of it. I think that's a Chevy. I don't know if that's a Chevy or GMC. Like those cars. I'm telling you, it's getting hit. Whoa! That one almost just had a wreck, though. Holy moly. Did you see it? They got over into our lane, but just went straight over to the next lane. You can't do that. You got to stop for a while and take a look. Man. So anyway, but it did a great job getting us over here. Now we're kind of stopped for a while, as you can see. We'll move on through. Excuse me. So I got a Jeep up there. They know they want to try to. Yeah, it's getting pretty congested here. We just monitor, because knowing how Houston traffic is, until you get to the barrier up there, somebody's going to try to. Let's see. Well, we're in accordion traffic right now. All right, once we made, there we go. We've made it past the barrier. So yeah, it's $8,000 right now. And like I said, you don't come out of pocket for it unless you're paying all cash, right? But you don't. It gets baked into your loan, and it's $8,000. But you have it for the life of your vehicle, and you never have to pay for it again. I did get the question, so that's one way to do it, is to pay $8,000 up front. Or if you don't want to pay $8,000 for it because you don't know whether you want to use it for the life of the vehicle, you may only want to use it from time to time, or I don't know, you're just iffy about it, you don't know, you want to test out the technology first, you don't want to come out of pocket $8,000 at the get-go. You even if it's getting rolled into the loan, you know, you want to lower your monthly nut, as they say. So I get that. So you want to go to then there's the subscription model. And currently, the monthly subscription is $99. So if you do the math on that, that's roughly about $1,200 a year. If you keep doing the math on that, what is that? About 6 to 7 years. Somewhere, I think like 6.5 years, if I'm right, before you get to $8,000. So if you're somebody that pretty much knows that you're going to get a new vehicle every 3 to 5 years, you're gonna you want to lease, you know, then you're probably, well, may even take that off the table. You may want to be in the lease model if you're doing that, but yeah, right now the break even, I believe, don't make me do that much math in my head, but I believe it's about 6.5 years or so is that break even between $8,000 and a monthly cost of $99. But let me caveat that by saying that once we get these cyber cabs going at $2 million to $4 million a year, and I mean, they're going to be fully autonomous, and you're going to have more and more people getting to taste what autonomy is like. I mean, I think the value of FSD is going to go higher. So, you know, it's just like everything else in life. You just got to look, where do you think autonomy is going? Do you think autonomy is going to be more valuable 5 years from now than it is today? If you do, you may want to buy it. But if you ain't got the money, don't worry about it. Just subscribe. You know, if you are still on the fence about it, let's say you do have the money, but you're still on the fence about it, subscribe. Try it out for a month. Right? So, there's flavors for everybody there. What I do hope Tesla does at some point is, I like the fact that they have a monthly subscription, but I do wish they'd get a little bit more creative with the subscription model and open it up a bit. So right now, all you can, like, if you subscribe, bam, you got it for a month, and it's, you know, $100, $99, you got it. I wish they would do more flavors of subscription, like maybe even do like a weekly model or a road trip model. Like, hey, I'm gonna go on a week-long road trip, so instead of me subscribing for $99 for the whole month, can I just try it out for this road trip that I'm gonna do for a week? And yeah, maybe I pay 35 or 40 bucks, and just let me try it out for the road trip. Let me try it out for a week. I'm telling you, if Tesla did like a 35 bucks or 40 bucks for a week-long road trip, you would get a lot of monthly subscriptions after that. I guarantee it. Your pull-through rate would be humongous. And the person that just bought it for the road trip is only out of pocket 35 bucks. Shit, You spend more than that when you stop at Buc-ee's. You know you do. Yeah, I guarantee you, you stop at Buc-ee's to get charged up, you are spending more than 35 bucks when you go in there and you let your rugrats run wild in that Buc-ee's, and you get the beaver, whatever those things are called, the beaver nuggets or whatever. Get some jerky, get some taffy, get some fudge, some of those burritos and brisket sandwich. Shit, I'm getting hungry now. I better stop talking. But yeah, from a customer perspective, they're not even out the amount that they would spend at Buc-ee's or that they would spend at a Flying J, right? And I guarantee you the pull-through rate would be tremendous on that. That is not my idea. I stole that from Omar's catalog, Omar's blog. But I believe it is a great idea. And I am on the record. Anybody see this video from Tesla, do it. Just do it one time. Try it out. This would have been the perfect week to do it during Thanksgiving. Because it makes your life so much easier on a road trip. So anyway, the person that asked the question on the pricing of FSD, you just got more than your money's worth on that one. Excuse me. So yeah, that's how the pricing on FSD works. You either buy it outright for 8,000 bucks and you got it for the life of your vehicle. Oh, and that reminded me of something. Let me finish that thought. You got it for the life of the vehicle, or you subscribe right now for 99 bucks a month. Those are your two options. And I know they do some playing around with the subscription model too, like you can get 3 months free or a month free for certain, you know, type of promotional things. But I really wish they would get a little bit more playful with the subscription model and, like, you know, do some long weekend subscriptions, or a week-long subscription, or a road trip subscription, or a per mile subscription, or something like that, and pull some more people in. The other thing I was going to say is on the license, let's go back over to the license model. So a great question that was brought up. So I lose it when I sell my vehicle? Technically, yes. When you buy Tesla FSD, it is attached to that vehicle. However, what I will say, two things, I have two responses to that. From time to time, Tesla will allow you to do a one-time transfer of Tesla FSD. And so I will tell you, I'm living embodiment of that. This is my second Tesla, and I've only bought the license one time. I own the license, but I've only had to buy it once because I was able to transfer my license over to this vehicle. So I've had two Teslas, but one Tesla FSD purchase. And yes, I do own it. Just so for fairness and transparency, I own Tesla FSD. I do not subscribe to it because I am that much of a believer in the technology. But I'm a living embodiment of it. I've done a transfer, and I believe it's even open right now for certain vehicles. I think you can actually even transfer right now for certain vehicles. So again, I wouldn't hang your hat on it because there are periods of time where there's no Tesla FSD transfers, but they do come up. And so that's another thing you can do, is just wait it out. Like, wait until they do another, because they will. Let's just be blunt, they will. I do not work for Tesla, right? So I am free to pontificate as much. I don't work for Tesla. I'm not a big account on X or YouTube. I'm a plebe, if you will. I've got a pretty good following, but I'm you know, if I had my accounts taken off tomorrow, I could build back up in about 6 months. So I ain't worried. Let's just be blunt. They're going to do it again. They're going to. So that's the other thing I would say is just wait them out. You know, wait till the end of the, wait till they need to push more volume through. You know, wait till they get there, because they're going to need to. So just wait. You know, if you're looking to get a new Tesla and you don't want to pay for FSD again, just wait them out. You can wait longer than they can. Because you know why? They got to report to the street every quarter and you don't. The only person you have to report to is your wife or your significant other. Oh, that may be worse, honestly. I don't know. Who would I want to report to more? Report to my wife every day or report to Wall Street once every 3 months? That's a tough one. Nah, I'm just kidding. Love my wife. Anyway, so yeah, just wait them out. So there's that they do those transfers. The second thing, and again, I'm putting my Tesla fanboy hat on firm. I'm locking it down for this one. Is, as you can imagine, I am a hyper bull on Tesla. And I am a hyper bull on autonomy and robotics and everything and in between that goes into it. So take all this. I want to put that preamble out there because I want to be transparent. I believe everything's going to be autonomous within 5 to 10 years. I don't know if it's 5, I don't know if it's 10, but I live it and breathe it every day. I know what the future is going to be. So I say that as a preamble to say that, do I think I'm going to be driving this particular Model 3 as my daily driver 5 years from now? No, I don't. Do I think this Model 3 is going to be getting driven around 5 years from now? Abso-freaking-lutely. And you know why? Because of autonomy. Because we are going to have an autonomous future where we're going to have millions of cybercabs driving around, but we're also going to have, for a period of time, there are going to be Model 3s and Model Ys riding around fully autonomously as well, giving people ride shares without being supervised. Now, I told you I was taking my Tesla hyper bull Uber fanboy. I'm not just a Tesla fanboy. I've got the pink skirt on with Tesla on it. I'm wearing it right now. So I locked my hat down. I already told you I was going to be transparent about it. But that's just my belief. My belief is that this vehicle I'm in right now, this very one, is going to be doing unsupervised ride shares 5 years from now. Maybe, and probably a lot sooner. But if you're asking me what it's going to be doing 5 years from now, it's going to be doing ride shares. And I own the license to that FSD, which I believe is going to go up in value. So not only do I own that license, I'm not going to have to pay Tesla one red penny for that. And I'm going to be making moolah off of that ride share. And if it doesn't happen, no skin off my back. But I believe it's going to happen. Down in my plums, I believe it's going to happen. I see it every day. I see how this software is just getting better and better and better and better and better, ... So that's my belief system. And so with my belief system where I'm at, to me, it's a no-brainer to buy the license. Because that way, when, not if, when I am making money on ride sharing of this vehicle, which I will not be using as a daily driver 5 years from now. I don't know what I'll be using as a daily driver. Probably be a cybercab. But I'll be making money off of this thing from ride sharing. And I won't have to pay Tesla one red penny for FSD licensing. Will I need to pay them a red penny or two for maybe wanting to be part of their network? Probably, right? Because I'm not going to go build my own app. I'm not going to go build my own ride-sharing app. There's some folks out there that may be smart enough to do that. I ain't one of them. So I'm definitely going to have to lock into somebody's ride-sharing app, which will likely be Tesla. But there's going to be a line item in there for a lot of folks that are doing it 5 to 10 years from now. And there's that line item's going to say FSD licensing. And you know what mine's going to say? Goose egg. And that may be one of the bigger line items on that invoice that you get every month from Tesla as you're getting your check cut from you. Don't get me wrong, those people are going to be happy as punch too, making money off of autonomous ride sharing. But I'm going to be a little bit happier. Told you I was going to need to tighten down my Tesla fanboy hat there for a second before I got into that one. So that is my long-winded answer to the question about FSD pricing. I told you, might as well do these, right? As I'm doing these rides and you get bogged down in traffic. You get to still see the FSD drive. You get 100% beautiful view of my windshield unimpeded as we're making this beautiful right turn onto Knox Drive. But then I can tackle some of these questions. And not only can I tackle them, I can go 30 minutes into them. Granted, if I go 30 minutes into some of these questions, I risk losing followers and subscribers. But oh well. Thank God I'm retired and I ain't dependent on this. Ooh, that was a big old semi. I told you they need to take that sign down back there that says no through trucks. Because that wasn't just a through truck. That was the through. It took up the through. Whew, this place has got holes all over the place. Great job on avoiding that one. All right, let's see how we handle. There we go. We're back at our light fixture that is not operational. But as you can see, it's picking up. It's picking up the light. It's showing it. Let's see how we do on it. It's showing it green though over here. Kind of off and on. Now it's showing it red. It is confused. This light is confusing it, but not enough to where we go ahead and get on through. Because it was confusing it, but it was going back and forth between, I think it's green, I think it's red. So it knew what to do. On that side over there, it just thinks it's a red light. So I can almost a dime to a dollar bet you that if I were to turn around, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to go on home. But if I were to turn around and get in that line to go back over that intersection, we just sit there. And I don't know why the software is treating it differently based on which side we're coming from, right? Because it's the exact same intersection, it's the exact same lights, traffic lights, and I've got to go the exact same direction, just the opposite way. So it should, and I've got the exact same traffic to deal with. I've got left-right traffic that's got the right-of-way, and I've got opposing traffic that's trying to turn left or right that I've got to do a subtle dance with. So everything about that is the same. The only thing that was different is that from that part of the cross section, it was treating it properly. On the other side, it didn't. But I will say this, it should just be disregarding it altogether, and it's not. The software is clearly picking up that there's a traffic light there, and it's clearly trying to figure out whether it's got a red light or a green light. It just so happens from that particular part of the cross section, it properly picked it up to just go on through. You got green. But on the opposite end, I'm pretty doggone sure that if I were to turn around and go back through, it would just say red light and we'd sit there until I intervene. So, Montgomery County, please get out here and turn on those traffic lights. If you can get Christmas lights turned on, you can damn sure get that traffic light turned on. Anywho, so I think I fully answered the FSD licensing cost, all of that. The only thing I did not go into as part of Tesla FSD licensing is, if we had more time, I'd go into the accounting of it on the Tesla side. So I think I answered everything from the customer facing side, but I know a lot of people have questions on, well, what's the benefit to Tesla of doing licensing versus monthly subscription, other than just trying to drive up the take rate, right? Because some folks might look at that and go, well, wouldn't they just want to sell it? I mean, you're making $8,000 versus $99 a month. It's like, I think I'd want to get the $8,000, wouldn't I? Well, not so fast there, because there are some accounting and operational reasons. Whoa, okay, that was not the smoothest reaction to an incoming car in that roundabout. We did not need to intervene, but you saw there that we had another vehicle, had their left blinker on. They were gonna be coming into the roundabout, but we clearly have the right of way because we are in the roundabout. But as you saw right there, it slowed down quite a bit. It didn't stop, it kept moving through, and it properly kept going. And we didn't get honked at, because we did have a vehicle behind us. So obviously, by not getting honked at, there's your audio proof that we didn't have any quote-unquote intervention type issues. But it wasn't smooth whatsoever. So that's interesting. I can't recall the last time I had a comfort nuance snafu in a roundabout. Now, we're going very slow right now, but as you can see, we got a bicyclist in front of us. We've got an Amazon truck double parked in front of us, and we're in a neighborhood, and we want to slow down for the Amazon driver. He just gave us a quick wave there because he saw us slowing down. He knows that when we're slowing down, yeah, and we're really just heeding to this bike rider right now, which I'm fine with. The only thing I would tell him is, sir, there is a sidewalk. Okay, are we going to go around? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, you got a sidewalk here, sir. All right. I'm going to exit out of that, and then I'm going to put on my hazards. Got some more. See? Look at that. Exhibit A. Bike riders doing, two young ladies doing it perfectly. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get over to the side a bit more too. Just to let there you go. We're by the mailboxes, which is perfectly legit. People stop here all the time, but let's go ahead and put on our hazards. So yeah, great drive. So we put in about 80 miles, or maybe a little less, but about, let's just say 80 miles round trip. A lot of highway. No critical interventions, no non-critical interventions. We did have a small handful of little nuance snafus. That last one being the roundabout. Interesting, I haven't had one of those on version 12 for quite a while. Again, did not end up in an intervention. Didn't need any human involvement from us, but just wasn't smooth. Did not need to slow down for that incoming car because we have the right of way. And they're not coming top of mind, but I know we had a small handful of other little, just like I said, subtle nuance stuff. But I want to bring those up too. So yeah, we talked about Tesla FSD. We talked about the steering wheel question. Next time I'll talk about I'll get into the accounting for Tesla FSD, how that's handled by Tesla, and answer the question like, well, why would Tesla prefer a subscription model over a outright buying it model. And in some cases, they may. They actually may. I know that may come as a surprise to you. But quite frankly, let me let the cat out of the bag. In a lot of cases, Tesla will have more operating cash flow from people subscribing to it than they would buying it. So let me just give you a little caveat there. You make out better buying it. They make out better you subscribing. That probably makes 0 sense. Let me just put it to you this way. I was a partner at a Big 4 accounting firm for damn near 30 years. And this was my day gig. And I worked in the national office of one of those Big 4 accounting firms for about 5 years. And dealt with questions like this. So yeah, it's not all black and white there. Yeah, so if you want me to give you just the boil, there's like right out of the, yeah, I think Tesla would probably prefer that there was a huge take rate and that everybody was subscribing. And all of y'all are like, I'm gonna subscribe and not give them. Like, okay, go ahead and do that. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about the accounting at some point on one of my other drives. I'll do a deep dive on that for you. And not that from a personal perspective you would care, but you know, if you're paying that much money to Tesla, you probably want to understand how it gets into their books, how they account for it, how the accounting standard setters force them to account for it, and why financially and operationally they may prefer one over the other depending on certain scenarios. So yeah, all right. Well, with that, isn't that such a Thanksgiving, get you into the holiday spirit? Let's talk about the accounting for FSD, why don't we? But anyway, let me get back to Thanksgiving. Hope all of y'all have a safe trip to wherever you're going, and that y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, got somebody parking right behind me. Hope y'all have a safe trip to wherever you're going. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Eat a lot. Do not worry about your diets tomorrow. Just have fun. Don't bring up politics unless it's brought up to you. If you're in a family that loves politics, all power to it. But just love one another. Give everybody a bunch of hugs. Tell them how much you love them. I don't know why that person got in right behind me and then just left. I guess they didn't want to get mail. They probably were worried about somebody. They were like, I'm not getting out of my car while this person's parked here. But anyway, yeah, just watch some football, eat some good food, give everybody a hug, tell them you love them, ask them about their kids. Always ask questions about them too. Don't always talk about yourself. Ask questions. And when you ask a question, and I know this is going to sound funny coming from me, shut the yap for a little bit and just listen. Use these a lot and not this as much. Especially if you were one of those people that were really happy on the evening of November 5th, do a lot of this and less of this. Just listen. And if you were somebody that was really, really mad at what happened on November 5th and haven't figured out why yet, I would tell you maybe do a little bit of this too. A lot of this. And not everybody, just love one another. Love one another. This is coming from a jarhead, from a Marine. Make love, not what. Well, don't make love at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean. Don't do that. Not by the cranberry sauce. But give out a bunch of hugs. You can do that by the cranberry sauce. All right, everybody. Like I said, hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving. I love y'all. And I will talk to y'all again soon. I'm not sure. You know, the only way I might come back on camera is if my wife sends me out to HEB tomorrow. God help me. If she does that to me, I may do some actual smart summon on Thanksgiving Day. On the morning that would be a hell of a time to do actual smart summon, is when that craziness. But I'm going to tell you what, no, please don't do that to me. If my wife does it, I'll have to do it, but I hope not. So if not, then I'll see y'all after the Thanksgiving holidays. And like I said, love y'all. Hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Go Cowboys. And to hell with everybody else in the NFL. Love y'all. Bye.